Hello, 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 and welcome in. Come on, get on in here, get on in here. Uh, Welcome in to Behind the Experience, the car show. I am your host, Anthony McCrary, and tonight's show is going to be for all you EV gearheads. And tonight's show, we're going to talk about exactly because there's going to be a huge over the next couple of years, a huge massive influx of EVs on the market. We've already seen, for the most part, all of our automakers decide to go ahead and put at least one or two into their lineup, and I promise you there's going to be even more. There's going to be a huge dump of EVs over the coming years into the market like we've never seen. Um, like I've said in the past, I'm not an EV hater by no means whatsoever. I promise you I'm not. I'm someone who does believe that we do need to do better by the environment. And part of that is by getting these gasoline engines, have them come to a slow crawl all the way to where we completely transition over to EVs. And with that, these automakers have now decided to, go all in on them. And so tonight we're going to talk about the incoming, the incoming EVs that's going to be hitting your showrooms, hitting the highways over the next couple of years. And a lot of the ones that I'm going to talk about tonight are going to be hitting your showrooms and highways and byways and garages um, within the year. Yeah. So we're talking the rest of 2023, all of 24 and 25. You're going, it's going to be insanity. Just how many EVs are going to be replacing a lot of the vehicles that you've, be, you know, become very accustomed to. A lot of your household name vehicles are going to be completely and totally replaced by these EVs. We've already seen in a lot of automakers right now a lot of discontinuations of various vehicles as we speak. Nissan is discontinuing the Titan truck. It is also discontinuing the Maxima. Um, Toyota has already replaced the Avalon with the Crown. Um, and Honda is just pouring out EVs right and left. And a lot of these EVs, believe it or not, are going to be, as of now, as of now, again, I say that loosely, as of now, affordable. So over the coming years, we're going to see a massive influx of these EVs. Some of them are going to be names you've absolutely never heard of. Some of these are exclusive EV makers. That's right. That's the only thing that they make are EVs. And some of these makers are still going to have their gasoline counterparts, or as they call them, ICE counterparts, internal bussable engines. Um, Internal combustible engines. Um, so if you hear that word thrown around a lot, that is what they are referring to. If you hear ICE line up and EV lineup, that's exactly what they're referring to when you hear ICE lineup, gasoline engines. So without further ado, and there are plenty of them to get to. I would do my best to kind of give you price ranges on some of these. Um, the word now that we're going to have to get accustomed to is range, and what that really means, is as far as how far it can go before it needs to be charged and things like of that nature. Gone are going to be the MPG. Now it's going to be MPGE. Which is the equivalent. That's what that E stands for. Equivalent. That's the type of language that we are going to have to get very accustomed to very quickly. Horsepower and all that, a lot of that is going to remain the same, and it's going to work exactly like you thought it was going to work. But I don't want to be on here and harp on infrastructure and things of that nature, because that too is coming. It's coming slowly, and we're getting more EVs poured into the market than the infrastructure has right now. But we are going to be seeing charging stations left and right pop up everywhere. So right now, like I said, without further ado, let's go ahead and kind of jump into this. First on this list, and like I said, they're going to be names. Some of these names that you're gonna hear are going to be names you've absolutely never heard of. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. The first one is going to be the Afeela sedan, and that is Afeela, Afeela sedan. And that's and what I'm noticing about a lot of these EVs that are coming out, they're not going to be, you know, odd shaped or anything of that nature. Now, some of them are. Some of them are going to be way out there. Some of them are going to be, extremely futuristic looking. Some of them are going to be almost something that you would, expect your 9-year-old to create on a game of some sort. But for the most part, they do look like conventional vehicles, and a lot of them are in the shape of cars. So dare I say that the car itself has not gone anywhere. As a matter of fact, there was actually an uptick in sedan sales in this first quarter. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, the sedan is making a comeback, so to speak. Not really. SUVs still, outpace them by a great deal. But it is to say that people are kind of tired, or beginning, I'll say it that way, beginning to kind of get tired of the SUV crossover kind of look, the conventional SUV crossover look. So a lot of these EVs now look like sedans, cars. And that's one thing that I can say I am happy about, because to me, there's nothing like a really nice looking car. There's just not. I mean, SUVs are cool, they're great, they're awesome, but man, if they can get an EV to look like a Viper, if they can get an EV to look like a Camaro or Mustang, like a real Mustang, you know what I mean? Like I think there would be a lot more people who are willing to jump on EVs. So, like I said, the first one is the Afeela sedan, and Afeela is a company that I promise you've never heard of. They are a joint venture, so to speak, between Honda and Sony. That's right. Honda and Sony tag team on this vehicle. The range of this vehicle as of now, as we're going to see it, well, it doesn't give me much on range, but it's not expected even to be seen until 2026. So this is one that's going to be further down the road. So we're not expected to see much of this in the coming years until about 2026. But that is something that Honda and Sony, and don't I will say this: don't think that a lot of these manufacturers have not reached out to these tech companies. A lot of these tech companies are in on these EVs, and this is just an example of that. And we're going to be seeing a lot of this over the coming years of auto manufacturer and tech companies, joining forces to produce vehicles. I mean, Sony at one point in time was the perennial name in sound. Sony has produced some of I think at one point in time everybody owned a Walkman, right? That was Sony. Sony is now known mostly for their cameras. They do have a movie production company as well. I think that got bought though ultimately. Anyway, next on the list is going to be now we've heard of this, we just haven't quite seen it yet, but now we're going to be able to get start seeing this in showrooms very soon. It's supposed to be hitting our roadways here in 2023. As a matter of fact, there was actually so much demand for it when it first premiered, as far as them announcing it, that they had to tell people to stop ordering because they had exceeded the limit on their production. So the next on this list is going to be the Cadillac Lyriq. Now, this thing, for all you Cadillac fans out there, I did a podcast previously talking about that Cadillac is going to be for the most part, the exclusive EV line of GM. So what they're going to do is they're going to be the EV luxury line. And at some point, every Cadillac is going to be an EV, and they got the jump start on this. And the Lyriq is going to be the size about of the XT6, which is their bigger third row right below the Escalade. And with that, plenty of range. We are already talking about 312 miles. Now, what does let's actually dive into range for a minute. What is that? So when they're sitting here talking about, 250, 300, 325, 312, 310 miles of range, that's literally if you went from that's literally nonstop 300 miles, right? Now, I know I can already hear you in your mind. Hey, that's not far enough to go from, from where I am here in Georgia, the southern tip of Georgia. That's not far enough to go from here to Miami. You're right. It's not. Okay. So let me ask all of you this. On your regular road trips and trips that you take with your families and things of that nature, especially when we know that, we are talking extensive miles here. We're not talking, 110, 115. We are talking, more than 200 miles, right? Even those trips that we take that are 200 miles. At some point, we do know in that trip, potentially, there's going to be a stop somewhere, whether it be for gas, whether it be for bathroom trips, whether it be for food, especially. Well, with that, the same kind of thinking that we have right now with our conventional vehicles, our ICE vehicles, so to speak, we are already doing that. We're already planning, okay, we're going to stop midway through to get food. We're going to stop midway through to, stretch our legs and things of that nature. Well, that's exactly the same kind of thinking that you're going to have with these EVs, is that you're going to have to plan a stop somewhere. I know. I get it. But perhaps where you live, there aren't, or even where you're going, there aren't enough charging stations along the way. Well, I liken that to how many of us every single night we make it, and it's embedded in us. We don't even have to think about this, right? We actually go ahead and charge our cell phones every single night without even having to think about it. It's the last thing we do. Some of us wake up in the middle of the night, holy crap, my cell phone isn't on the charger. And we force ourselves to wake up to put our cell phone on the charger, right? That's the same kind of thinking that a lot of people are going to have, or that mind switch that they're going to have for their EVs. Think about every single day that you wake up, right? You don't have to think about, man, do I have gas in my vehicle? Man, I didn't stop by the gas station last night, so I'm gonna have to wake up a little early to put gas in my vehicle. Well, with an EV, you're not gonna have to worry about that if you literally charge your EV every single night. And with that trickle charging that it has, level 1 or level 2 charging that it has, and that's what you're gonna get when you are at your home, is going to be level 1 or level 2, or at your apartment complex, level 1 or level 2. You will not have a level 3 charger. Now, what's level 3? Level 3 is going to be the super fast charging. That's what you're going to be seeing at these stops, at these stations, at these charging stations, at when you're on the road, on your highways and things of that nature. Like I said, the infrastructure to me is behind, because these manufacturers are putting out these EVs much faster than the infrastructure has to support right now. And for some of you people who already own EVs, I know, I hear it too.
I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new,
I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help.
I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, it's time to stand up.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. Sorry about that, you guys. Technical difficulties. Just popped up out of nowhere. It's okay. I am back. Sorry about that. Like I was saying, that's how we're gonna have to plan our trips. We're gonna have to plan our trips around these charging stations, around stopping for 15 to 20 minutes. Now, most people don't even realize how much time they actually spend when they let's just say stop for something, to get something to eat, stop to get gas at a gas station or anything like that. A lot of us think that we only spend about 5 to 10 minutes, and that's actually not the case, especially if people are having to go to the bathroom and grab food, grab something to drink or what have you. You'll spend easily 15 to 20 to 30 minutes there at the gas station and not even think about it, not even put it in your mind that that's something that we do, but it is. And with that time, with these quick fast charging stations, as long as your EV isn't completely and totally dead, which I liken it to like this: there's almost no way that you are going to let your vehicle go completely and totally dead. That's almost like letting your vehicle completely and totally run out of gas. That's not to say it doesn't happen, but it is to say it's highly unlikely, just because one, your car is going to tell you, even now, for those of us who still drive ICE vehicles, even now, your car is going to tell you, hey, we all know when that light comes on, it makes that weird little noise, boo, and then it tells you, hey, you got 50 miles until you're on E, completely, totally empty. Your EV is going to do that same thing, and it's going to do that right around the 100-mile, less than 100-mile mark. 90 miles, 80 miles, 70 miles, depending upon the EV. It's going to do that, and it's going to continue to do that until you do something about the problem. And like I said, the chances of it going completely and totally dead on the highway are highly unlikely. Now, the beautiful thing about a lot of this technology is that a lot of these EVs, if not all of them, are going to let you know on the way the various charging stations that you can actually use if you are needing to, and I'm talking quick charging stations. I'm not talking about the trickle ones. Now, of course, those will be in there, but for those quick charging stations where it needs about 20 minutes to 30 minutes to get you 70 to 85% on your battery, it's your vehicle is actually going to tell you where all of those are located on the route. So it's not going to take you way out in the middle of nowhere to this charging station. All right. But so Cadillac, the Lyriq, that is coming, and it's coming in 2023. As a matter of fact, it's going to be here spring. So now you're going to start to see those vehicles roll out now. Now, I don't know as far as geographically how fast that actually is. That's just saying that's when they're going to start rolling them out. Next on this list is going to be the Chevrolet Blazer EV. Now, we've already begun to see commercials about the Chevrolet Blazer EV. GM is extremely aggressive with their EV production. They have cranked it up to a level 10, if I can say that. And they are going to make sure they have an EV counterpart to every vehicle that they have currently on their roster. There is going to be an EV counterpart until that's all there is. So GM is been very aggressive with their production of EVs, and that Blazer, beautiful thing about this Blazer, it's going to have a 17.7 inch display screen. Now, a lot of these EVs, they're going to completely replace the dash with these massive tablets. massive, huge tablets, screens, TVs, whatever you want to call them. And that's going to be the way of the world. So if you're someone who likes buttons and knobs and things of that nature, I hate to tell you, those are getting ready to be gone the way of the dodo. And we're already truly beginning to see that now in early integrations on ICE vehicles. I'm not even talking about EVs. I'm talking about on ICE vehicles. Currently right now, someone who has bought a brand new 2023 Nissan Altima, you will see that infotainment system has been completely changed. It's now a gigantic screen, and there's only one button and a knob. That's it. Everything else you're gonna have to touch the screen for, or use your voice activation, which that voice activation is actually pretty cool because it will even lower your windows, lock your car. If you have a moonroof, it will actually open the moonroof and things of that nature as well. So the Blazer EV, the price range on this is going to be between $47,900 to $65,900. Now, that's a huge gap. That is a monster gap. But it is to say for an SUV, which most of your current SUVs fit right along in there anyway, your third rows. No, this is Blazer. Most of your SUVs fit right on in there anyway. It's not going to be a problem for a lot of people who are already buying these SUVs. You're going to get about 557 horsepower, which is massive. And remember, the thing about EVs, all that horsepower and all that torque is available at zero. So there is no, oh crap, I got to get to, 3 or 4 RPM before I can really, get where I feel all this power. No, it's there the minute you hit the pedal. The minute you hit the pedal, you've got all 550 on the ground, and that's pretty awesome. And that's pretty amazing. And that's one of the things that EVs are going to have over your ICE vehicles. A lot of these vehicles are going to be very, very fast. They're going to hit from 0 to 60 anywhere between 1.9 and 5 to 6 seconds, depending upon the EV. And of course, you have to think, and what I always think about is that battery. That means these things are going to have some monster batteries. And again, as long as you continue to plan your life and plan your trips around stopping at some point on these trips, you don't have to necessarily worry about your vehicle failing. It's almost impossible. I mean, you would have to be a complete total idiot for your vehicle to fall off. And I'm not calling anyone an idiot by no means, but I'm just saying the same problem that we thought that we were going to have when it came to automobiles, when they first came about, the internal combustion engine came about, is that, oh my goodness, I'm not going to have enough, gas to go wherever I need to go. So, that's why, again, they decided to use gas stations, things of that nature. Same basic principle, except now you're not going to be using gas. It's just going to be all electric. Next on this is going to be the Chevrolet Equinox. Now, the Chevrolet Equinox is going to go through some changes. It's going to look completely different. Like I say, GM has become very aggressive when it comes to the overall production of their EVs. They are going to, like I say, there's going to be an EV to pair with every ICE vehicle that they have until they stop production on the ICE vehicles. And the more of these that they begin to put out, the faster that ICE vehicle production is going to stop. And with that, you're going to be able to see this fall 2023. So here we go again here at what we're talking September, October, November. We're going to be talking about the Chevrolet Equinox EV. And this price range on this is going to be $30,000 to $48,000. So we're not talking about anything that is crazy, obnoxiously crazy. Now, you and I, all of us remember a few years ago that Tesla completely set the world on fire when they brought out their EV lineup. And yes, you had to be the privileged few to have one, and it still feels that way. Well, if you look on the pre-owned market right now, you can find plenty of Teslas that are, that are in your 40 to $50,000 price range. And I'm not talking about, 2014s. No, I'm talking 2018s, 2019s, Now, something that I question is, how are these vehicles going to hold up when it comes to as far as resale value is concerned? How ultimately are they going to, be able to sustain, because and something else I ask, well, if someone is buying an EV, let's just say this year, are they really going to be trying to buy another one 2, 3, 4 years from now? I think this is going to kind of reset the trade-in cycle, so to speak. I don't think they're going to be people trading in as much just because they don't need to. I mean, because at this point, you're really going to be trading in for either range or technology. And with all of them, with all the technology that is going to be updating constantly, I don't know if there's really going to be a need to be trading in as much. Now, that may be something to think about, But like I said, I love that price range in between 30 and 48,000. I don't see where that is breaking anyone's bank at all. Right now, go try to buy a car right now. That's about the range you're going to be at. I mean, an Altima right now, even if you go with an S model Altima, that's going to hit you at about 30,000, 31,000. And that's a nice vehicle. So you're saying I can have an EV at 30,000, 31,000, that's pretty cool. Next on this list is going to be the Chevrolet Silverado EV. Like I said, we've seen commercials already. And I like that Chevrolet. I will say this, it truly does kind of look like a truck. It kind of reminds me somewhat of those Avalanches. But it is going to be a truck. It is going to be able to be a real deal work truck. You're going to be able to do work with it. My only question when it comes to the Chevrolet, well, not just Chevrolet, but anyone who is building an EV truck is, although the range says whatever it says, right? Let's just say the range, like good example with this, let's say the range on this right now has a 400-mile range. Whoa, right? 400-mile range, right? That is, if the truck bed is empty, that's you not towing anything. So you know where my question is going. What happens to the range when your truck bed is full and you're towing something substantial? Does that, and of course it's going to be just like your gasoline engines right now. So, you get a Silverado and you put something behind it, or any truck for that matter, you put something behind it, towing it. What happens to what happens to your gas mileage? You and I both know what happens. It goes down. It goes down at least by half. So, if your Silverado says right now, hey, you can get 26 miles to the gallon in the city, on the highway, and about 18 miles to the gallon in the city. Well, if you're towing something, go ahead and take that 26 and put it down to 17. And if you're in the city, go ahead and take that 17 and put it down to 14, or put it down to 12, or what have you. That same principle applies. But the beautiful thing is you get all the torque and all that horsepower again at zero. So you don't have to put it in any kind of special gear or anything like that, or anything for you to have all the power that you need. So that, again, that's one of the advantages of an EV, is that you've got all the power that you need from all four tires, and all that pulling power and towing power from zero. So that is an advantage. I just don't know, like it says here, 400-mile range. That's if it's empty, though. That's if you're not towing anything. What happens to that range when you are really doing some real deal work? That's what I worry about when it comes to trucks. But you'll be able to see this, at least the work truck now, and you'll be able to see the RST, which is now for the ICE RST. That's the bigger engine. It's got that 6.2 in it, man, and that thing rides. Oh my God, it flies down the road. But you'll be able to see the RST package in the fall of this year. So again, September, October, November, look for it. Look for the nicer, the nicer, bigger, I guess, so to speak, battery powered Silverado then. The price range on this is going to be $39,900 to, now check this price range out, $39,900 all the way up to $105,000. Good Lord. Good Lord. So you can find but that to me, I don't look at that as a disadvantage. I look at it that you're going to be able to find the right truck for you and here's the thing. That's not about, that's not far from what an average Silverado costs you now. It's not. It's just not. So that pricing that you are already accustomed to as far as your trucks are concerned now, it's about the same. It's not far off from it at all. And all that says to me is that there's going to be a Silverado truck, an EV Silverado truck for everybody that is looking for a Silverado. Next on this list is going to be, now check this out, old school, the DeLorean, right? I haven't heard that name since Back to the Future, the DeLorean, man. And for those of you who do not know, that was the car that they used to travel back in time, was the DeLorean. It was a cool looking car. It it was supposed to be like their muscle sports car and everything like that, and it really didn't take off like they thought it would. But it looked cool. It looked absolutely cool. I used to want one just because of Back to the Future. So they're going to do the DeLorean Alpha 5. That's going to be next on this list. Now, this thing is going to go from 0 to 88 miles an hour in 4.3 seconds. Yeah, so this thing's going to be able to move. So to 88 miles an hour in 4.3. Wow, Marty, hold on to your hat, buddy, because it's doing that in 4.3 seconds. So 60, I would imagine it's doing it in probably 3.2 seconds, 0 to 60.
Oh, well, I finally got home. I got to tease you about something. Sorry about that technical difficulty earlier, but that's what happens when you move from point A to point B. Sometimes you hit the wrong button.
No worries.
I do have to ask you a question, because you talked about the DeLorean, and I remember the Back to the Future car and all in that space. So did you want a DeLorean or did you want KITT? Because I know some people, when they were growing up, wanted KITT, the talking car. So which one did you want, the Back to the Future car or KITT?
I wanted both, but I like the DeLorean just because of how cool it was, man. It's like, man, I want this car because I really thought that's the car I could go back to the future. And,
Yeah, but KITT talked to you, and the cars now talk to you. So they were both cool.
Right, definitely both cool. And what I love, especially about about them bringing back the DeLorean in this, is that it's going to be 100% EV. The thing is, it's going to come with a hefty price tag. It is going to come with that price tag. It's going to be about $105,000 on that. So the DeLorean Alpha 5 is not going to be for everybody. It's just not. But for those folks who kind of want to have that nostalgia feel, well, there you go. And it's not going to, I can tell you this, it's not going to look like the DeLorean from Back to the Future at all. So I don't know gone are the butterfly doors, but I can say that it is not going to look like a Corvette or anything of that nature. It's not. Very futuristic looking.
It's going to be futuristic looking. I like futuristic looking and all in that space. I'm going to let you get back to talking about these EVs, but I do have one other quick question to ask you and everything. Sure. I told you before that my brother is a big fan of a certain kind of car and everything, and that being the slingshots and the slingshot Polaris. I had a video about the slingshots, but it's too long for us to play to interrupt your show flow and all in that space. But will there be those kind of trick cars, whether it's a 3-wheel or the Treks, that are going to be EV run as well? Or is this strictly for the wheel cars? Are we going to see bicycles and motorpads and treks that are solar powered as well? Or maybe they already are. I just don't know the answer.
So there are some, they are pretty expensive too. Now when it comes to put your Polarises and your side by sides and things like that, I think automakers are going to and those makers are going to concentrate on that last, because that'd be the easiest to do. I mean, those engines are a lot smaller. I mean, those battery powered, it's going to be pretty easy for them to do. You're not going to be talking about high production. You're not going to be talking about, I would dare say anywhere between 60 to 70% of your Americans are driving, so those are going to be something that, yes, there are some already now, but high production of those, I think, is kind of on the bottom of their list right now, because it's going to be the easiest to do. It's going to be the easiest to transition people to that, because you and I both know those for the most part are just really for fun. They're toys for a lot of people. So yes, it's coming. I can tell you that for certain. There's already some in the works. There are already some that are out. And they come with a pretty hefty price tag on them too.
Well, I'm sure they come with a hefty price tag. No doubt about that. I have no doubt about that whatsoever and everything. Well, I'm going to step on out of the way, let you talk about more of these EVs, but I just had to ask that question because I know my brother might be like, hey, can I get one of those EVs as a trek and all in that? So I've done my part, so I'm going to let you go back to the rest of the conversation, but it was real fun, and sorry about that earlier interruption with Billy of all people, but definitely we'll let you continue on with the great knowledge that folks need to know about the car industry. You do an amazing job, and we are glad to have you here on Pod TV.
Awesome.
I'll let you continue doing what you got to
do. Appreciate that, my man. Definitely. Now, next on this list is a company that has been doing not necessarily EVs, but solar power vehicles and hybrids for the most part. And at one point in time, they went bankrupt. I didn't even think they were still around, but they are. And as a matter of fact, they're getting ready to put out an SUV. Most of you have not heard of them. Some of you have. Fisker. Now, Fisker, man, they made one of the gorgeous vehicles I have ever seen, and it was solar powered. The problem was the price tag on this thing. Nobody could afford it. The few people who could afford it, they did find a lot of issues with it. But we're talking EVs in its infancy. We're talking EVs back in like 2011, 2012. It was just a vehicle kind of before its time. So Fisker right now is going to be putting out an SUV, and it's called the Ocean. And this one, oh my goodness, it looks like what you would expect an SUV to look like. From the side, it kind of looks like a Mitsubishi Outlander. I know that's kind of an odd comparison, but that's what it looks like to me. It's a Mitsubishi Outlander. Now, the top trim of this is going to cost you $70,000, but the affordable levels, it's going to start out at $37,000. So again, there are going to be plenty of SUVs and cars that are going to be affordable. And what I like these price ranges to, is that there's going to be a vehicle kind of for everybody. If you want to drive a Fisker and be like, wow, I have a Fisker without breaking the bank, there's one for you. If you want to be more luxurious and have all the bells and whistles and all the amenities, there's going to be one for you on that. I absolutely love that. And you're going to be starting to see these now, spring 2023. Now, I don't know where Fisker dealership is currently. I don't know if they're like Tesla and you kind of got to order more so online. Yes, there are a few Tesla actual physical dealerships out. I would imagine most of them are going to be in your major cities. I would say the same thing is going to be with Fisker. But don't be surprised if you begin, if you're going down the road and you're trying to figure out what the hell is this, and it says Fisker. Who makes that? Well, Fisker makes Fisker. So, there's that. Next on this is going to be the GMC Sierra EV, just like the Silverado. Because again, GM makes all GMC, Chevrolet, Cadillac, and a few others. The the GMC Sierra EV, you can already begin to see those. Well, you won't see those really until the beginning of next year, but you're really going to begin to see the the nicer editions late next year. That's really when you're going to see that. Now, remember, GMC, I said is a premium truck, and it is. It is a premium truck that most people are going to go ahead and tell you they do, and they make the most expensive truck on the planet. They do, but there's a reason for that. Their off-roading is just outstanding. That AT4 is nothing to play with. It is not only is it beautiful, but it is truly a truck made for off-roading. And they're going to take all of that and make it into an EV. The Denali Edition 1 is going to have 754 horsepower. Good God. My question is why? Why do you need all that? Doesn't matter. For the same people who buy the AT4, that's going to be the toy, right? Price range on this is going to be from $50,000 all the way up to $107,000, and that's about where your current GMC sit anyway. So again, we're not talking about price ranges that are far from where we already are as far as some of these vehicles go. We already are talking about trucks being $55, $60, $70, $80, $90,000, $100,000. Well, same thing. It's just finally now a lot of this technology has gotten more affordable. It's more prevalent. So now with that being said, a lot of these vehicles are now going to become more affordable with that. And I think too, a lot of it has to do with what Tesla has done. Tesla has decided, okay, we are now going to make our vehicles more affordable. So with them being the leaders of the market as far as price is concerned, well, heck, if the leader says that they're cutting their prices, well, shoot, we're not gonna overstep their bounds by much, if any at all, and we've got to make our vehicles more affordable. I mean, that's exactly kind of what happened to a lot of and Elon Musk, man. Elon Musk is just, oh my goodness. I may not care for him personally. I think he's a weird dude. I really do. I think he's very odd, but business wise, very smart, very, 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 very smart. And he's like, well, if I'm the leader and people, because the Teslas are still in high demand, by the way, it's not like they're not in demand. He didn't cut their prices because they're not in demand. By no means. That's not why he cut prices. He cut prices because he realized, shoot, if I've cornered this market here, this high-end market here, and made these more of a luxury vehicle, if I can make these more affordable, I can become even richer. This company can grow even larger now. And part of it too, I think, is that the government is forcing affordable EVs, and part of that is he has to make his vehicles more affordable with that. But yeah, you're going to be seeing the GMC Sierra EV in early 2024 all the way throughout. Next on this is going to be the Hyundai Kona EV. Now, we are already starting to see that Hyundai, excuse me, not Honda, Hyundai or Hyundai. They are becoming very, very, very aggressive in their EV production. They have taken their production again up to 10, and I honestly think that they are like Chevrolet are going to have an EV counterpart to everything that they've got. And so far, that's what they've done. The Kona is already a ICE vehicle, and it's a nice ICE vehicle. It's an affordable ICE vehicle, and the Kona EV is going to be right behind it. As a matter of fact, it's going to be from 24 to 38,000. So we can be talking about a fully loaded EV from Hyundai for 40 grand. Wow. And the production on this is, well, at least the inline of it is going to be this year, over the summer. So now. So, June, July, August, September is when we're going to be talking about the inline EV Hyundai Kona. I mean, that's pretty awesome to me. Next on this is going to be the Indy One. I know, never heard of it. Never heard of the Indy. What is that? So the Indy One is going to be from 40,000 to 60,000. Now we're going to see this late 2023. That's when this is going to be hitting showrooms, hitting the roads, hitting. I don't even know if there's going to be showrooms again. And crazy thing is, I think a lot of this affordability with a lot of these are going to come, especially from the ones who are only EV makers, are going to be from the fact that they don't have massive overhead. Is why they are so affordable. And what I mean by that, brick and mortar, they don't have necessarily a bunch of brick and mortar stores, because you got to think, if let's just say Toyota, Honda, Ford, what have you, right? They've got overhead. They got to pay for all these dealerships, and these other EV companies like Indy doesn't. You can order it straight from online, directly from the manufacturer type of deal. And I think that's what a lot of these are going to be, So 45 to $70,000. It's an SUV. That doesn't sound like anything that people aren't already paying, because they are. I mean, if you haven't looked, go see what a Pilot costs you right now, a Honda Pilot. Go see what a Nissan Pathfinder, go see what a Toyota Highlander is costing you right now to go buy one. So we're not talking about anything that's going to be, oh my God, astronomically, economically out there, way, way, way out there. I can't afford this. Yeah, you can. You're going to be able to afford a lot of these. Next is going to be the Jeep Recon. Now, this is truly going to be for those true outdoorsy, off-road type of people. Jeep already has plenty of hybrids, diesel engines, and EVs on the road. They're probably the best kept, secret as far as EVs and hybrids on the road as we speak, because they don't talk about it. They really don't. They really don't talk about it. They really don't advertise it that much. We're seeing more advertisement now, but they've been doing this for a little while. People just don't talk about them. But this one in particular is going to be on sale 2024. So we're talking 2024. It's going to look more like your Ford Bronco. It's going to look more like your Land Rover Defender. So it's not going to be a massive, huge SUV, but it's going to be large enough, Next on this is going to be the Lexus RZ, the Lexus RZ. This was going to be between 58 and 64 grand, and it's out now. Now Lexus has always been forward thinking. They have a hybrid version literally of every vehicle that they make. I always thought that was Ford, very, very forward thinking, because they knew long before, EVs became a thing or whatnot, that at some point they're going to have to switch to something. So for Lexus, this is going to be a pretty easy transition for them to go from, ICE vehicles to hybrid to EVs. This is going to be a very easy transition because they've already been doing it for the most part. Like I said, they have a hybrid version literally of every vehicle they make. Even the high-end stuff, there is a hybrid version of that vehicle in the Lexus lineup. Now, the price range on this one is going to be $58,500 to $64,000. That's not nuts. You got to remember what you're buying. You're buying a Lexus. So most people would say, man, that's pretty inexpensive for a Lexus. Yeah, it is. Now, this isn't going to be a massive EV. So don't think this is going to be the size of a Tahoe. It's not. It's going to be, pretty compact. But you're driving a Lexus. Now, the Mercedes-Benz EQ SUV EV, it's just a lot of letters, man. A lot of letters. We're going to see this right around now, and Mercedes-Benz has also always kind of been a company that's been forward thinking. A lot of the standard technology that we see in everyday cars, Mercedes is kind of the company that brought a lot of that to the market. So they've always been a forward thinking company. They've always been a company that on the cutting edge of something. And that's something that I can appreciate. The range on this, well, it's going to give you 288 horses. So it's not going to be, something that's going to blow people out of the water. Now, there is a version of this that is going to give you 536 horses. And of course, the AMG version is going to give you 677. Now, the price tag on this is going to be $75,000 to $95,000. I expect that from Mercedes. I truly, truly expect this. Now, as it comes to range for a lot of these vehicles ranges are going to be anywhere between 250 to 380 on a lot of these vehicles that I have not spoken about range about. That's the range on that. So again, good range on a lot of these. And like I said, you're not going to let these vehicles go all the way dead. And I liken this again to your current cell phone. Most of us, again, wake up in the middle of the night. Oh my God, my cell phone, I didn't put my cell phone charger earlier, so I need to go ahead and do that. And the perfect thing is when you wake up at night, not wake up at night, but when you wake up in the morning, you got a full battery all day long. And the beautiful thing about a lot of these EVs for people who do a lot of city driving is that they have what they call regenerative power, where as you push the brake, it's going to take that power and it's going to recharge that battery. So you're going to get some of that power back. So that's why I said these vehicles going dead is highly unlikely. Now, when you're doing long distance driving, that's different, but we have the same concern when it comes to our current ICE vehicles that we have now. I mean, how many of us are going to drive from Florida to, Seattle, Washington and not stop for gas? Who's doing that? Exactly. Nobody, So we're going to find the most, economic route, and we're going to find the fastest route as well, to make sure that we stop for gas and stop for food and everything else. That's all you have to do. It's literally the same principles that we are dealing with now. The problem that you think you have, you actually do not have, as far as distance and range goes. But people feel more comfortable hearing that, oh, I've got, 400 miles of range on this thing, when you really don't need it. You don't, because how many of us currently right now gas up and drive 3 states over on one tank of gas? We don't do that anyway, because we're smart enough to know that, hey, at some point I need to stop and get gas. Same thing. Hey, at some point I need to stop and charge my vehicle. And of course, if you go 30 to 40% on your battery, man, you're only going to be at the charging station, like I said, for 20 to 30 minutes. Go and grab you something to eat. That's what most people do anyway when they stop for gas and have to grab something to eat. Now, I know, I can hear it now. Well, I don't. When I stop, I just go through a drive-through and just, keep it going or what have you. Okay, good. Well, you can't necessarily do that now. You might have to spend the extra 15 minutes in your car if you want to and eat there, or picnic or what have you. Now, next is going to be the Nissan Ariya. Now, me working at a Nissan dealership, I can go ahead and tell you the Arias are already out, and they are gorgeous. They are beautiful. Plenty of power, plenty of range on all of them. Again, with these EVs, especially this one, it is made to compete with your kind of higher ends without compromising the price point on them. Price point is going to be anywhere between $45,000 and $58,000. Not bad at all, because guess what your average Murano costs? Guess what a platinum Murano costs you? Same thing, right? Or pretty close. Now, no, they're not 58 grand out of platinum Murano, but yeah, you're definitely going to be in your 50s on a platinum Murano, or pretty close to it. Like I said, they're out now, so you can go to your local Nissan dealership and check one out. I advise anybody to do that if you are having questions about EVs or wanting to kind of jump into the water a little bit and kind of see what this whole EV thing is about. Because again, that's going to be your way of life. Yeah, your ICE vehicles are going, whether you want them to or not, and there's not going to be a damn thing you're going to be able to do about it. Nothing. So go ahead and switch over in your mind or start thinking, do I need to get into an EV now, or do I want to wait further down the road? I want to wait only because of the infrastructure, not necessarily because there isn't a plethora of vehicles. No, there is a plethora of vehicles. Next on this list is going to be the Polestar 3. Now, this one kind of looks like a station wagon. I don't like that necessarily, that station wagon look for, I guess, for those folks who are nostalgics back here. It does look more like a station wagon. I know you're like, Polestar, what the hell is that? Exactly. The Polestar is going to have about a 300-mile range on it. Very, very, very safe. The top trim is going to have a 517 horsepower in it. Now the range does go down. It's going to go to 270, so not a major drop off. So what you lose in range, you gain in a lot of horsepower. Price tag on this is going to be anywhere between $83,000 to $89,000. So because there just aren't that many models of Polestar out there, and we're going to see these late this year. So we're talking late October, November, December. That's when we're going to, you guys are going to start seeing Polestars everywhere. And of course, the Polestar 4 is going to be right behind it. That looks more like a conventional SUV. And that one's going to be $60,000. And that's going to be late next year before we see that one on that. Now, next is going to be the Ram 1500 REV. And I'm pretty sure that R stands for Ram. I'm pretty sure it does. Now, this thing is going to have 654 horsepower. The standard one is going to have a 350-mile range, while the larger battery is going to give you 500 miles of range on that. Again, I say, well, what happens when you put something in it and you start towing? What happens to that range? Like I said, I believe it goes down. I really do. I don't see where you make a vehicle heavier and that range remains the same. I just don't see that. Physics doesn't say that. Logic doesn't even say that. Price tag on this is going to be anywhere between $55,000 to $90,000. Now, this is truly more so, that $90,000 is going to be more so of a true estimate. I think they're going to be a little bit more expensive than that, especially because of what Ram has become. Ram to me, has the most luxurious interior of any truck that I have ever laid eyes on. The interior on a Ram is absolutely gorgeous. If you have not had the opportunity to go take a look, they already look like they're EVs. I mean, it just, oh my God. I mean, just a massive, huge screen in these vehicles. They are beautiful to behold, beautiful to look at. These vehicles or these trucks are absolutely gorgeous. So I think that price tag is going to, it's going to waver some. I think it's going to be a little bit more than what they're saying. Now, Tesla too is also going to have a truck, and we've been seeing photos of this for a while now. It's the Cybertruck. We're finally going to get the full-on production of those late this year. The Cybertruck's going to be anywhere between, and this is what's going to be surprising about this one. Cybertruck's going to be anywhere between $39,000 to $69,000. So it's not going to break the bank at all. I told you that Tesla has lowered their prices on their EVs. I think they've done it already, 2 or 3 times, maybe even 4 times. So yeah, this is just going to become even more affordable. I remember when they first were talking about the Cybertruck, this truck had started out at like $70,000. Now you can get, a baseline model for $40,000. Now, of course, it's 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. It can tow 14,000 pounds. So not only can it move, it can also tow a huge load. Again, with that, once you put something behind it, I don't know, how much of that range that you're going to get, which is going to be about 350 miles to 500 miles on that. And Tesla's also working on a Roadster right now as well. So they're going to get even more sporty vehicles going on with that. And that won't be available until 2024. So at least tonight, I hope that I brought to light that EVs are coming, and they are. And of course, this list is huge. So I don't want you to think that that's it. No. I'm just out of time, unfortunately. But there are plenty of EVs out there. They are becoming more affordable than ever. As the EVs roll along, we're going to begin to see them move into more affordability. We're going to see them move into more showrooms across the country and across the world. We're going to be able to see them on our roadways, driveways, and it is definitely a way of the future, and it's not that far off. A lot of these EVs are coming within the next, as you can hear, within the next 6 months to a year. And they're going to dump a lot of them on us. So if you're wanting more information, you can follow me at themccraeexperience.com. Of course, I'm on Facebook and Instagram at The McCrae Experience, and you can always follow me on YouTube at Behind the Experience, the Car Show. Oof.
Sounds good. Another amazing show, Anthony. Looking forward to next week. I'm going to leave you with one of your Valdosta commercials. I don't know that I've got two this time, and I didn't dig up any new ones, but I'm going to dig up one of the older ones, maybe two of them, but just to mess with you since we were having fun, and since I feel that I should do this just for my brother's sake as well, we're going to play that 4-minute video that you'll have to stick around for of the whole SUVs, and well, not the SUVs, but of the Treks and what they're all about, because this was a sling experience, I think, in Houston, Texas. So I'll play that, and then we'll go into one of the Valdosta commercials as well. But just to have some fun, as people are going like, what the heck is Mark talking about? I've never seen a slingshot. We're going to let them see a few minutes of the slingshots, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
So let's watch a little bit of the slingshots, and then we'll also have that Valdosta commercial. We'll get on out of here. Who knows? Maybe I'll talk Anthony into getting one of those cars, because I know my brother and his crew love theirs. So let's check it out.
Good job, everybody.
Good job, guys.
Let's do it. 2023.
This the experience. You know what time it is, mechanics, baby. San Antonio, what up? Dallas, what up? Central Texas, Austin, Texas. Let's get it.
Sling Experience, the biggest and livest in the country, and event for everybody, and it's always gonna be jumping. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. We do urban city drives and donor competitions, give away the baddest trophies, and there's so much more to witness. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. Yeah. Come and get all this southern hospitality.
Yeah.
Got good food and everybody family.
No, we fam.
Once you come, it ain't no place that you'd rather be.
Nah.
Ride for kids, we be giving back to the charity.
That's what we do.
Catch us whipping downtown by the Georgia Brown. 50 deep and it's loud, about to shut it all down.
Let's go.
Showing off on them cats riding by Minute Maid.
Hey.
Got the dopest contests and grand prize giveaways.
Hey.
Driving through the twisties and it's real live. When we ride on Main Street, we got it grid live. Polaris is the brand and they top notch. Best slings in the game, yeah, they got it locked. Hit the Sling Experience for all my upgrades. The biggest aftermarket vendors all in one place. Yeah, meet and greet with So5, makes friends for life.
Yes, sir.
Our sponsor So Live taking us to new heights. Sling Experience, the biggest and livest in the country, and event for everybody, and it's always gonna be jumping. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. We do urban city drives and donor competitions, give away the baddest trophies, and there's so much more to witness. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. Yeah.
This the South where we slang with experience. A lot of events, but this one here is the biggest one. I'm untamed, so I'm VIP up on the list. Smoke bombs got me doing donuts in the mist. Swinging hard as I flow through Memorial Park. Got the mind whip, you know we about to set it off. Fam, we all good, ain't no enemies. A good time is showing off is what it meant to be. I got them trophies, man, we got them trophies. When it come to competition, I'ma leave it smoking. Sound booming, leave their ears broken. First place
every time, homie, game over. This the biggest and the baddest. Better hope you never miss it, cause tomorrow we gon' be bragging, boy. This the biggest and the baddest. Better hope you never miss it. The experience, you gotta have it,
Sling
dog.
Experience the biggest and livest in the country, and event for everybody, and it's always gonna be jumping. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. We do urban city drives
Yeah.
and donor competitions, give away the baddest trophies, and there's so much more to witness. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. Sling Experience got everything.
Got what?
Got everything. Yeah.